let's get famous. Baby, let's get rich, let's get famous. Yeah.
Okay guys, so I'm doing Baddies ATl episode 2 review, so let's get into it. So I wrote some notes like I did last time on my phone, so to make sure I'm organized and go out through the story like in order. Alright, so it picks back up from the fight with Natalie and Christina. So Christina swung, like I said, it didn't connect her face, but I feel like it hit like her armpit, shoulder is, but like, I don't really know. So Natalie like throws her way at Christina, and then like it's like a tug of war up here, and I see Christina go like this like 1 or 2 times. Did it connect? I'm not really sure. Like I watched the video mad times, I really can't tell. And then throughout the fight, well during the fight, Christina like pulls Natalie's frontal off, and Natalie swings like this, but like she was too far back, because like Christina was like pulled by security, so like Natalie was just punching the air. So I don't really think nobody won the fight, to be honest. Like the only person I seen connect was like Christina's hit, but like it didn't hit the face. So did Christina win because of that? I'm not sure, bro. So I guess security like throws Christina to the bed, so she's like laying down, and Natalie has her hair, she's like this. And then she's like, oh, let me give her a 2-piece. Let me give her a 2-piece. Like, the fight, I don't know. Like, I feel like it was fake. And I don't know if it's just me, but, like, on the trailer, the fight looks different than how it actually came out. Like, I don't know if Natalie or somebody, like, I don't know who's in charge of editing, but, like, the fight looked edited. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it just looked chopped up. Like, I just don't see it. Like, what the heck? Alright, the fight gets breaking up. All the other girls, like Sarah, Natalie, they all go in the room, and Natalie and Christina just argue with each other. Christina throws her wig out the window, which was funny, and I was just weak. Natalie's like, oh, I bust her face, I bust her face. Christina had like a small red scratch right here, like you could barely see it, but like, that's not busting her face. Like you probably scratched her with your nail. So Natalie leaves the room, and Sarah goes with her, and then Janelle and Seven stay with Christina. So Christina's like, oh, she tried to do that thing when she gets loud and tries to eat you up for her voice, so I cracked down her face. Don't effing play with me. And Seven, they're kind of like agreeing with her, like, if you in my face this close, I'm gonna hit you, period. What I've noticed is that Sarah is like kind of up Natalie's ass. Like she just laughing at everything she says. Like she's like following Natalie, and I'm just like, Sarah, stop. Fast forward, supposedly Judy spat on Sydney last night in the car. So Sydney's looking for Judy down the hall. She's like, where's Judy? Where's Judy? I don't like Sydney at all. Like she does a lot for the camera, and I could just tell she's doing a lot. Is she acting? I don't know, but she's just very dramatic, and I don't like that. So she's like, oh, what you did to me last night was wrong. It was wrong then. So then Zoo, like, they took like a video phone recording and like inserted. And it was Sarah recording them arguing. And then I guess when Judy spat on Sydney, like, I guess a drop or two got on Natalie. So Natalie's going, oh, she's like, Judy, who the F you spitting on? Who the F you spitting on? So Natalie threw her drink, and the drink kind of like hit Seven. The Seven didn't do nothing. And then Judy didn't care. Judy like, I don't care. Like, I don't know. It was just weird. But they arguing for like 30 minutes straight. Like, I feel like Zeus or whatever the director need to stop recording Cindy and Judy's arguments. Like, it's wasting camera time. Like, nobody cares. Like, at least I don't. I really do not care at all. So Cindy tries to throw a drink at Judy, and I guess like a drop or two must have hit Seven. And then Seven gets up and throws her drink at Sydney. If you ask me, neither of them got wet. Cause I feel like Sydney's drink barely hit Seven, and Seven's drink barely hit Sydney. So it's like whatever. So then Judy goes to sit down, and Sydney walks on her face, and they keep arguing again for 30 minutes straight. The argument's dumb, and then it's like a mess on the floor. So Sarah comes out of nowhere, and she's like, Sydney, clean this up, clean this up. Like, I knew this was Sarah. Like, Sarah always adding her 2 cents. Like, you don't even be there. You just be popping out of nowhere, making commentary. And I feel like everybody gets annoyed with that. Like, nobody's talking to you, mind your business. So she's like, oh, we all live here. You can't just expect the house. You gotta clean it. Then Sydney's like, no, make the maid clean it. Make Judy clean it. She's the maid. So then Sydney walks off and she falls. How embarrassing. Like, she had on these heel boots and she just falls on her ass. And everybody laughs at her. And then Janelle says in her interview, all I know is that no spirit or drinks better get on me. And in my head, I'm like, Janelle, you can't even fight. Like, I'm sorry, I like Janelle, but you're not going to do nothing for real. So Tanisha comes to the house and Seven and Janelle about to do it, telling her what happened. Seven's like, Judy spat on Sydney, Christina and Natalie fall, and then, you know, Janelle's there adding comments or whatever. And then Tanisha's like, oh, she spit on her? Oh no, I'm from Brooklyn, we don't play that. You know, you'll get shot like that. Like, Tanisha's going in. So then the three of them walk to the kitchen while everybody else is there, and they're all like at this long rectangle table. So Seven sits down. She's like, okay guys, you gotta fix this. Like, what's going on? And Christina's like, oh, I'ma just be ready. And then the camera keeps pointing to Natalie, and Natalie got sick, and Natalie's just like this. Like, so then Tanisha starts talking to me. He's like, oh, this is crazy. This is too much. It's only day 2. We fighting. We spitting on people. Tanisha takes Christina's side. She's like, oh, I know Natalie probably provoked her. Always getting in somebody's face. And then Tanisha was like, oh, everybody's makeup should be done. Not just Natalie. We all a team. And Christina's like, yeah, exactly. Make sure I'm right. If you right, make sure everybody else is right. Like, Christina's going in. I know Christina's crazy or whatever. Then Sarah asks her 2 cents. She's like, oh, but me and Natalie are friends and I do my own makeup in here. Then like, she just pisses Tanisha off. I feel like cause Sarah's always trying to defend Natalie for every little thing. Like, she really be up her ass. And then Tanisha's like, oh, my problem with Sarah is that I don't be talking to Sarah. Sarah be talking to me. And I agree with that 100%. Like, in every situation, nobody talks to Sarah. She always adding her 2 cents. Like, nobody's talking to you. Tanisha tries to leave the table. She has to get out the house. And then Sarah's following her outside. She's like, Tanisha, what did I do? Like, just shut up. Like, she don't want to talk to you. Leave her alone. That's it. But Seven convinced her to come back. So Tanisha comes back. And then she's like, oh, Judy, why'd you spit on Sydney? Then Judy's like, oh, I gotta defend myself. And I'm just like, you could have slapped her. You could have did anything. With that spit shit, you will get effed up for that. But Sydney don't want to hear her because Sydney's like, was born a man, which is understandable, I guess. And then he's like, oh, let me get this thing clear. I'm not effing God. I can't do everything, blah, blah, blah. Like, the argument was really dragged out. And then I feel like Christina was really bugging in this scene. Like, she was getting up, screaming, doing evil. Like, she's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, she was just really bugged. I'm like, Christina, are you okay? Like, she was doing a lot. Sarah adds her 2 cents again. She's like, oh, but both you and Natalie are EPs. Y'all should be doing everybody's makeup. Tanisha's like, oh, I'm not doing shit. I don't got time for that. I don't got money for that. And then Sarah keeps talking, and then Sarah just keeps talking, and then Tanisha and Christina are like, Sarah, shut the fuck up. And then Sarah's like, no, I'm not. Then Tanisha walks out. She's like, oh, you don't even effing belong here. Then Sarah's like, oh, I'm a fan favorite. And then she's just like, Tanisha just like, shut the fuck up. And then Tanisha walks away. It's like, you don't even belong here. Then the screen goes black. Like, it's the end of the episode. This episode to me was dumb. I still feel like the show is scripted. I don't care what nobody say. Like, it's a lot of choppy editing. I don't know who's the editor, but this shit is edited badly. Like, on BGC, we saw not everything, but we saw a lot to make the story make sense. Like, the story does not make sense. Like, I noticed, like, they be adding details, and like, I noticed that when they had conversations, they be saying stuff that we don't see on TV. Like, they be like, oh, you talked about my husband, that's how we fought. But it's like y'all fighting over hair and makeup. So I don't understand. Like, they need to start doing that. Like, show us the full thing, because the story does not make sense. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of editing. Like, I feel like Natalie is editing this shit, like telling her what to put and what to take out. The shit does not make sense. Going into my next week's episode review for episode 3. And